Hello arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Tonight we're doing my 95th Chillin' Chat. We're doing it on a Monday evening. I decided I was going to go to the arcade last night. I had a hot date and I just wanted to make sure I was available for that, so I moved it a night to Monday night. Told you guys I would do this periodically. You know, we're not going to have it every Sunday evening right on time. There'll be some weeks where we do it a little early, some weeks we do it a little late, like this week on Monday night. But let's say hi to everyone who's made it into the chat so far. Looks like we've got Israel Gaming in the chat. He's saying, "What's up, Biggie D? How's it going, brother? Good to see you." We do have a poll going on right now as well. It is, what is your favorite rare pinball table? Currently, we've got one vote at 100% for Sea of Thieves. So you've got the option of Sea of Thieves, Battletoads, Killer Instinct, or you're not interested at all in this pinball pack, which we're going to be discussing tonight, which is the rare AtGames pinball pack, and it has these three games. And if you guys originally remember, Sea of Thieves was the first one that released. They heavily delayed the Battletoads and Killer Instinct to work on it. And if you guys saw my short this week, it just didn't see any improvements. I mean, everything is just all messed up on that Killer Instinct table specifically. So we're going to get into all that stuff tonight, give you all the details, and we're not going to make it look pretty. You know, I'm just going to give you what's wrong with these tables, what I don't like about them, and what I've been hearing in the community. So let's get started. I want to first start here with this news on the thumbnail, which is the MetaQuest 3S Xbox edition. We'll start with that tonight, just because we're big VR gamers in this community now. It seems like a lot of people are you know, into home arcade, but they're also getting into the VR headsets, and we had some really big news this week with Xbox. So we're going to start there. And it looks like Brooklyn Menace just came in. He says Sea of Thieves is the only one that he's ever played. So he hasn't played Battletoads or Killer Instinct yet, so he can't vote, I guess, without being able to play them and know which one's his favorite. But that's what I've been hearing, is Sea of Thieves is the best of the three. But let's get into tonight, MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition headset. So essentially what this is the same exact VR headset that I currently have, which is the 3S model. Which is actually the newer model of the 3 and the 3S. This is the newer one. Some people say the lens isn't as good on this model, that it looks better on the pancake lens that you get with the Quest 3. In my opinion, and I'll tell you kind of a backstory of my Quest and my experience in buying these. I started off with the MetaQuest 3S 256 gigabyte. I got a really good deal on it, and it was during Black Friday, and I liked it. But then I saw everyone else had the 3 model, which has that pancake lens, which was the previous model. It was more expensive. It was like $200 more. Well, what I ended up doing is taking it back to Target and saying, hey, I'm going to exchange this for the 3. I want to get that one. That's the one I want. I paid the extra money for it, paid the difference, took it home, played it for a couple weeks. I found out I did not like the 3 as much as I liked the 3S. And I don't know what it is about it. It may be the contact lenses I wear, not sure, but there's more of like a bubble to the lens on the 3S, and it kind of gives you more of a visual of what like a real eye would do, where it's very flat on the 3. And I didn't like that. It kind of looked like on the 3 I'm just putting a screen in front of my eyes, and that's basically all it is. But with the 3S, with that lens being that it was a little rounded, it kind of seemed like I was more within the game, like I was actually seeing what my real eyes would see in real life. So that's the one I went with. That was the one I liked better of the two. So what I did, Target, luckily they have one of the best return policies. As long as you're within 30 days and you have your receipt, they'll let you exchange, return, whatever you want to do. So took it back, said, guys, I'm really sorry. I know I've already exchanged this once, but I'm just not happy with the 3. So we went back to get my 3S 256, so which I originally had. They were sold out of the 256. So I had to get the 128. That's all they had available there. So I went ahead and did that, saved a little money getting the 128 gigabyte, and I've been extremely happy with it. Actually, the difference in the memory, like the 256 to 128, it really hasn't been that big of a deal, because like once I beat a VR game, I uninstall it anyways, and then that way I've got enough room for all the new games. So it really hasn't been much of a crutch having that smaller memory. I've been happy with the 128. So bottom line is, just telling you guys, I like the 3S, and I think that's where MetaQuest is heading in the future. Is I think they're going to promote the 3S. That's going to be the model that they go with going forward until they make whatever the 4 and whatever that's going to be. So I wouldn't expect any more like a Xbox Edition 3. This is it, 3S. This is what their new technology is. This is what they're going with. Some people may argue it's not as good as the previous model, but this is what they're going with. Mickey Yoon is here. He's saying, what's up, Biggie? Good to see you guys. You guys let me know, you know, how's the audio? Is everything coming through all right? Make sure to vote in the poll. We've got 5 votes so far. 80% are saying Sea of Thieves. 20% are saying not interested. We have no votes for Battletoads and no votes for Killer Instinct yet. So get a vote in there. Let your opinion be heard. And we're going to be getting into that topic here very shortly. So that is the MetaQuest 3S box. Let's take a look now at the headset itself and what you're going to get in that box. So this is the MetaQuest 3S headset, your new controllers, your new Xbox MetaQuest controller, and a Game Pass membership for 3 months. Now, another thing you're going to notice too is you're getting the Elite strap with this. This isn't the Elite strap with battery. This is just the Elite strap. So one thing I upgraded on mine is I've made a couple upgrades on my 3S. I've upgraded the facial interface with the more breathable one that has a better, more comfortable face mask on there. And then I've also upgraded to the Elite strap with battery, which is the official model strap that you put on there. Gives you extended battery life. I get like 3 hours of battery life as opposed to only like an hour, hour and a half. Those were upgrades that I was extremely happy with. They were both official products. They were expensive, but I felt like I got a value out of them, and I've really enjoyed those upgrades. So the extended battery, the Elite strap, and the facial interface. This model does not give you the facial interface. It does not give you the Elite strap with battery. It just gives you the Elite strap. So it should be comfortable, but it's not going to have that extended battery life, and it's not going to be comfortable around the face. Something I've noticed is, you know, where that outline is of that pad, it's not as comfortable as if you want to upgrade that with the what they call the breathable interface. I think that one's the one you're going to want to get. So a couple of upgrades potentially you're going to want to do to this is that battery pack and is that facial interface. So those are some things that you have to kind of factor into. Do I want this model? Because will that Elite strap even be worth anything to you once you get the battery version? And are they going to make a black one? Are they, because the battery Elite strap is white. So how's that going to look on this headset if you want to upgrade to that? Are they going to make a black version of it? So those are some things just to factor into your purchase. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at here some more images of this headset. So these are the controllers. I do like the controllers here. These are black. They've got these green outlines here where the buttons are, as well as the joysticks. It just looks sleek. I like the black. The white is good. That's like what PlayStation went with the PlayStation 5, was that white with the white controller, but it does show like grime and dirt a lot more than with the black. The black, you can get away with like a dirtier controller and it not bother you as much. So I prefer the black. I always have. I just feel like it looks better longer, and you don't notice, you know, the dirt on it and the grime. So I'm happy to see that we're getting a different color controller now, and I would also be interested, can we buy the controllers separately? You know, I'd like to have those for my white 3S, just as an extra pair of controllers. So will they sell those separately? That's another thing to think about. But here's kind of like a close-up image out of the box of the actual headset itself that I'd found. So you've got the black lead strap, you've got the black headset, VR headset, when you get the green outline. You do have the black controllers. You've got this special Xbox controller, which is specific to this headset. We've never seen this controller before with these green outlines in it before. So it's kind of an exclusive controller you're going to get with this. And then let's take a look at the other side. The other side's kind of got a cool, I think, part to it that you may be interested in, especially if you're an Xbox fan. You'll see there where the Xbox logo there is on the right side. Outside of that, there's not many differences with this headset. I mean, the technology is the same. All the parts inside are the same. It's really just all like cosmetic stuff. So let's see what we're getting outside of, you know, visually, cosmetically. What are we getting outside of those upgrades? So let's take a look at that. And so it's a limited edition MetaQuest 3S 128 gigabyte headset. So that was interesting to see that it's the same 128 gigabyte that I purchased. They don't offer a 256 gigabyte that I know of. Maybe they are going to end up offering that, but I couldn't find information on that. Looks like it's just going to be a 128, which isn't a deal breaker. Like I said, I'm happy with my 128. I am having to delete old games, and I'm not able to keep all my games installed. That is one negative. The MetaQuest Elite strap, like I'd mentioned, it does not include that battery, so keep that in mind. 2 MetaQuest Touch Plus controllers, those black with the green outline. Limited edition black and green Xbox wireless controller, so this is limited to this model. You're not going to be able to get this Xbox controller outside of this package deal, so keep that in mind. Also, 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That's really why you're buying this. Not only are you an Xbox fan, but you're probably going to be playing the Xbox Game Pass on your headset, which you've been able to do up until this point. That's not really anything new. They're just throwing in the extra 3 months. And then the 3-month subscription to MetaQuest Plus, you're going to get that on any headset. So that's not anything new there. So not a whole lot as far as differences, and you're not really getting a whole lot extra outside of that controller and the, you know, the visual upgrades. So really, why are you going to get this? And I started thinking to myself, you know, why are people running out and buying these? Why are people so excited about these Xbox Edition VR headsets? And I've got some thoughts on that. What I think is about to happen, it hasn't happened yet, they haven't announced it, but what I think is happening is Xbox is finally working on first-party exclusive Xbox titles for the MetaQuest. So just like you have MetaQuest games that they develop, like they're doing Deadpool right now, they did Batman last year, Xbox is going to want to get in on that business too, and they're going to want to have their exclusive VR games. And I put this in the thumbnail as well. So let's take a look at, you know, what do I think that they could be working on behind the scenes here. And there are a couple of games, and specifically, that I would really like to see. The first one is going to be this game here, which is, and I've played all these tables on my PC through Steam. But if you guys know this, Xbox bought Bethesda a few years ago. They own Bethesda Studios now. So they can basically release these games in any way they want, on any platform that they want. They can re-release as many of these games. They own them outright. So what I would like to see is them to bring this Bethesda pack back to Zen Studios. If you guys remember, it came out originally on FX3. And then they lost it on FX, and we haven't seen it since. So on FX VR, it's not on there. We haven't heard any word if they're going to bring it back. But with the thoughts that I'm having with this Xbox Edition VR MetaQuest is that they're going to want to release these games. Why not make money on these already developed games? And, you know, why not use that as part of your selling point to sell your Xbox Edition headset? So what this pack comes with is it comes with Skyrim, it comes with Fallout, and it's going to come with Doom. And Doom is my favorite of the three. This game is one of the most amazing virtual pinball tables I've ever played. The music, the sounds, the call outs, the animations going on in this table, it's just absolutely incredible. And with the new Doom game that just released, I think it just drives us even more that they need to get this back on pinball and virtual pinball so we can, because people will buy these, especially if they do visual upgrades and things for FX. And then let's say they do an FX VR version, which, you know, that's in game, right? I want to see this become a VR version and maybe it's exclusive to MetaQuest because they're partnered with them on this Xbox headset. And get these titles in the FX VR arcades that we've been playing. Have a room for Bethesda pinball. So you guys let me know on that thought, what you're thinking. Because I know a lot of people in the chat tonight, Kevgret, Mickey Yoon, you guys are playing a lot of the FX VR. What do you guys think? Do you think Microsoft would allow this game to be made again by Zen Studios for VR or for FX with some visual upgrades? That would be really cool, right? Julio Hernandez is here. He's saying, finally get you to see you live. Okay, you've missed the live streams. We're on Monday night. You get to see us tonight. Great. He's saying, hey, Biggie D, as an Xbox owner, I would get it for the controller. Just got the Doom controller. Amazing. So, yeah, a lot of people are paying a lot for these special edition controllers. You know, it's $399 for the full package, and you're getting that controller. You know, if you've never bought the MetaQuest before and you want this controller, you know, I think this is a great deal. You are saving a little bit of money, too, with the Xbox edition. I added it all up at current prices. You're saving about $15 on the whole bundle. So saving a little money and getting the special edition controller doesn't sound too bad. Mickey says, interesting, you think they'll release pinball tables competing with Zen. Well, these are Zen pinball tables. These were released on Zen FX3. They never made it to FX. The only person in control of that is Microsoft. Now that they've partnered with the MetaQuest, are they going to allow these games to be made again? I think so. Julio says Doom will probably be coming 100%. I think so too. With the release of the new game, you know, I just think this is a perfect match right now for these to release on the FX VR platform. So I hope that they do. Now, another game I would like to see, I also put this in the thumbnail as well, is Skyrim VR. Now, Skyrim VR has long been out. It's been out for like 7 or 8 years. You can play it on the Steam platform. You can play it on the PlayStation VR 1, but it's not available for PSVR 2. And it's not available for the MetaQuest headset, like the 3S. So for whatever reason, it never came to MetaQuest. And now that it's, you know, owned by Bethesda, they're now doing this Xbox Edition headset. It leads me to believe they're going to either just release this game on MetaQuest and have a MetaQuest version of it, where you can download it from their store, the previous version, or they're going to remaster it with like enhanced graphics. They're going to redevelop this game for the MetaQuest headset to get the most out of that technology and just try to like maximize their graphics out of that headset. And if you notice in this trailer too, this game has aged quite a bit, 7-8 years now. it's aged quite a bit. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, things that they can do to maximize, like I said, the what you can get out of that Quest 3 or Quest 3 headset, Quest 3S headset. So Skyrim VR, I would say, you know, put it on your schedule or your calendar. I think this will end up probably releasing by the end of the year with this new partnership on the MetaQuest store. And I would like to see it be a remastered version that has been like reprogrammed, redesigned for the Quest headset. That's what I would like to see. So we'll see if it happens. Now, another thing I wanted to mention too is, because of course their biggest IP, their biggest license is Halo. Would love to see Halo make it to VR. And if you guys do a little bit of research on Halo VR, you're going to see that it is a popular, highly requested title to be played in VR. They actually have mods where you can essentially do mods on certain games on the PC to play Halo 1 in VR already. So that's just been done by like community developers and things like that. So I think there's a high enough demand for a Halo VR game that I would expect to see one, especially with this new partnership. So if you guys could just imagine, you know, a VR Halo game, how good would that look? How great that would play. You know, he's wearing the helmet. It's something that's worked really well with the VR headset are those helmet games where you can see the shield in front of your eyes and you can actually get that whole experience. That's something I'd noticed, you know, playing some of the VR games where you're wearing a helmet or you have something on your face. Like I was playing most recently a game where you like put a gas mask on your face and you can see the gas mask around your nose and in front of your mouth. And that really just draws you into the game even more. It makes you feel more like you're in that suit or in that mask. So I think Halo would really benefit from a VR version. You guys will have to tell me, what do you think? Are you thinking the same thing as I am? So I'd like to see those. And then let me get our pictures back up here. That's what I'm trying to do here, is get these back up. Let's see. Here we are. But yeah, so that's my talk on the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition headset. Don't really have much else to say tonight about it. I have been watching some people, some reviews, some content on it. I thought it's looking really good. Will I upgrade? Probably not. Like I said, there's not enough with this package to really incentivize me enough to upgrade right now. But I'd like to see what they do with this partnership. And, you know, and when they do make the MetaQuest 4, and let's say they make a regular MetaQuest 4, they make a MetaQuest 4 Xbox edition, I'm probably going to most definitely go with that Xbox edition on my next version. But will I upgrade on the current 3S that I currently have? Probably not. But if you're new to it, I think it could be a great purchase for you. All right, so let's see. How do I get back to my dang post with all my media? So I password protect these media posts on my website, and sometimes what happens is the password quits working. So I'm just going to take the password off completely, and then I should have no problem getting back to that media that we use for the stream. And then if you guys want to follow along as well, go to athomearcades.com and I'll show you how to get to it, guys. So you go to my website here, you go to live streams, go to Chill and Chat 95 Media, and this is what I'm using for the stream so you guys can follow along, and this is everything we're going to talk about tonight. So next what we're going to get into is we're going to get into the rare pack, okay? This is going to be the main subject tonight, the rare pinball pack by AtGames. Mickey Yoon says Zen's been killing it. Herb Wars, I have this on PSVR 1, talking properly about the Skyrim VR game. Steps Gaming says Halo, the first one has always been the best. Absolutely, I love the first Halo. You know, that game probably beaten several times all the way through, and I still sometimes will go back to that Master Chief Collection and pick it back up because it was just such a great game. Mickey Yoon says they also own Sea of Thieves, talking about the rare pinball. Microsoft talking about how they own Sea of Thieves as well. So we've got 9 votes right now. 44% for Sea of Thieves, 11% for Killer Instinct, none for Battletoads, and 44% are saying not interested. So this is the rare replay. If you guys remember back in like 2012, 2013, I think it was, there was a rare replay video game that came out that had a bunch of the old games. Battletoads was one of those games. And if you see here on the sides that artwork, that is where, so Microsoft, who owns Rare, gave AtGames media assets. They gave them, these are the Battletoads. These are what we're going to use as like a measurement of what we want the Battletoads to look like. This is a blueprint for you AtGames to make the Battletoads and to make the Battletoads pinball table. Now you could go way back and do like classic Battletoads 1991. You could do the more modern Battletoads, which we saw on the PC on Steam, that game, or you could do like the rare replay version, which we're seeing here on that artwork on the sides, right? So they have like a number of different ways that they can go with the artwork, and I guess it's up to them. You know, it's up to AtGames creatively how they want to use that and those assets and make this game and make it in the way that Microsoft would want to see it be made. So here's another image of those Battletoads, and you're going to see this. These are the rare replay Battletoads, and their artwork created for that game. And you're going to see that artwork on the table we're about to see. You're going to see it right by the flippers. These are the 3 Battletoads. You probably also saw it in the marketing as well. So let's now take a look at that marketing and take a look at this table. There was a trailer that they put out that we're going to take a look at here. So this is it. So you'll see here those Battletoads down there by the flippers. Now, as you start to go up, it just gets a little bit worse. You start seeing these Battletoad animations here that are just kind of standing around. And basically they don't move. They don't really do much. They're just kind of stagnant, you know, mannequins there. And then every once in a while they'll move around, like throw their arms around or reposition themselves. But outside of that, there's not much that they do. And this was really disappointing, I think, for AtGames fans, for Battletoads fans, you know, specifically Battletoads fans that grew up playing these arcade games. Just like, you know, you're putting these animations in there. They look terrible. They're not moving around. They don't match the artwork that Microsoft provided you to develop this table. You know, what are you doing? You've got this mixture of different artwork, different characters on the game. They don't match. They don't match the theme. They don't match the original games. Like, what the heck are you doing, AtGames? That was my initial thought. Also, talking about the gameplay on this table, people are not impressed with the gameplay either. It's not one of their best tables. And with these, we're about to talk about Killer Instinct here in a moment. But with these tables, these are the ones that they should have knocked out of the park. You know, these are the ones where they should have hit a home run, because these aren't Zen developed tables. These aren't exclusively like Magic Pixel developed tables. These are AtGames funded, AtGames driven tables that they took on. They went to Rare and said, we want your license. We're going to make these pinball tables and we're going to make them great. And they just didn't do that. They didn't deliver at all. They really just kind of half-assed it. If you guys remember, they heavily delayed these tables. We saw a lot of this early on a couple of months ago in the previews that they gave us of Battletoads. And I don't see much improvement between those previews and what we got. I don't hardly see any improvements at all. So it's like, what did they do with that extra time? Were they just finishing the tables, or were they making improvements? I think they were just finishing them, because they look exactly like they did in those initial previews that they put out. So let's take in these pictures we're about to look at, were thanks to Papa Brad's Gaming. I'm in Papa Brad's Gaming Discord, and he had posted these today. So thanks to him, we can get some close-up images of what these Battletoads actually look like up close. So you can see how they look. They look really awkward looking. Nothing like what we saw in those other images or what we remember from the arcade game. They've got these really big eyes with these really small pupils. They've got this really stupid grin on their face, and it just looks terrible. It looks like a child drew it with, on a notebook and said, "Here, let's put some color on this and throw it on the Battletoads pinball table." That's what it looks like to me. So very unfortunate, especially for such a big license. They probably spent a lot of money, probably a lot of effort. And what is really mind-boggling to me, what really is like hard for me to understand, is how did Microsoft approve this? Like, how did this get through that approval process where Microsoft signs off on it and says, okay, yeah, this is good. You guys did a good job, and we're happy with what you did. It seems like almost they had signed an agreement with Microsoft that they can pretty much do whatever they want with this, and they're going to allow it to happen. They probably didn't even have to get approval from Microsoft. They probably already had it ahead of time before this was all developed, because I don't see how they would have signed off on this. I know Microsoft doesn't spend a lot of time or effort, reinvesting into these games. It looks like they're selling this license off a lot. But you'd think they'd have at least a little bit of passion behind the brand and these IPs to say, no, we're not going to allow this to happen. We're going to stop this right here where it's at and say, you've got to fix this, or remove these animations completely, because they do not represent our brand. They do not represent the game Battletoads at all. And if I was in charge, that's what I would be telling AtGames. You just cannot release this. This is terrible. Or at least give them the option to turn the damn animations off. That's another part of it, is you have no choice in the matter. You have to view these creepy looking, terrible animations the entire time that you're playing. And that's what's unfortunate, I think. So I had made this graphic earlier this week. I'd posted it in a community post for you guys to check it out. So on the right here is the 1991 Zitz Battletoad character from the arcade game playing behind me here on Killer Instinct Arcade. And he doesn't match the color. He doesn't match the look. It's just, he's got like these black boxing gloves on. Where did the black boxing gloves come from? I have never seen these characters ever wear boxing gloves. Where the hell did that come from? So I started thinking, this is all AI generated. That AtGames does not have much control. They're just telling AI, I want this, and what AI creates, they go with, and that's what ended up happening. So I told AI, I want you to 3D recreate this image facing front, like where we can see it from the front. Because we're kind of, with AtGames tables, you're really only able to see the table from the top. And I've talked about this before, how I'm, really into the FXVR because it looks 3D. It looks like a real pinball table in front of you, where in AtGames, you're on top of it. You're literally looking like you're directly over it and you're directly on top of it. So I asked AI, I want to see it from the front like I would if I was really playing a Battletoads pinball, or if I was playing Battletoads VR pinball. And this is what AI created, and it looks like a pretty good match. You may have made the feet a little bigger, AI, and you may have maybe brought his shoulders up a little bit. But outside of that, I thought it did a pretty good job. But it really kind of just points out, they've got these eyeballs with these little pupils. They've got this stupid looking grin on their face, and they've got black boxing gloves on. Like, where the hell did that come from? He's supposed to wear gloves, but not boxing gloves. So very funny how this all turned out. I think we kind of all expected this early on when we saw those previews a couple of months ago, and it started getting heavily delayed. I think we could have really called this and predicted that this was going to be the outcome, unless they made some drastic improvements, that this was going to end up being a dud for sure. Now, Pixelated Traveler is saying he liked the Battletoads pause music, So that's good to see. And that's one, I guess, if we're going to talk positives, that is one of the good things that came out of this table, is that the music was actually really good. And I saw T. McCloskey's shorts and videos on this week, and he had pointed out that music. I saw Papa Brad pointing out how great the music is. I guess that's one positive. You got it sitting in a track mode. It may look good in a track mode because you can hear it and have it just going on during the arcade or while you're in the arcade. Papa Brad's Gaming is also pointing out another good point. We're about to talk Killer Instinct. So this table comes with 3 tables, right? Comes with Sea of Thieves, Battletoads, Killer Instinct. The pack was $35. So it comes out to $11.66 per table, which is very high. You guys got to keep in mind, like a lot of the Zen packs are much less. Or if you get like a single pack, the table's like $5. So why are you paying more than double for these games that just were poorly done, poorly developed, don't match, you know, the themes that they should be going for? Why are you paying more than double? Like rewarding bad work. I don't agree with that. And they're making more than double like what Zen makes on their tables. Like, where does that money go, and why are they asking so much from their customers? He also says the rare pack is $35. That equals 7 Williams tables from Zen. No way that he can recommend this pack. Yeah, so this has been, you know, just a terrible release for AtGames. And it's unfortunate because this was, like I said, the one that they really should have hit out of the park. This is the one that they should have put the most focus on, and they really should have made sure this was ready to release, and that it was going to be something that people were going to be happy with. You know, maybe test it with some beta testers and get some opinions, and then if you have to, delay it even longer. You know, delay it to next year if you have to. I think that would have been a better way of going about it than to just put this out there. So now let's take a look at Killer Instinct, because what's unfortunate about Killer Instinct is it's even worse. It's like, imagine Battletoads, now imagine it being even worse, and that they were somehow able to do that. And what's bad about that is Killer Instinct was the big title of the 3. You know, this was the one that I thought that should have been the best of the 3. It had the most to offer, especially for us big arcade fans growing up in the arcade, playing Killer Instinct, you know, throughout the years, having those sounds, the game, the nostalgia for this. This is the one I was really interested to see what were they going to do with it. You know, when I first initially heard that they got the Killer Instinct license and they were going to be making a Killer Instinct pinball table, I was really interested to see what were they going to do with this, how was it going to look, what direction were they going to go, and it was something I was really excited about. But again, I saw those previews just like Battletoads a couple of months back when they delayed the tables, and they just looked so bad. And I remember making a comment back then about how it looked like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And I know P-Dubs caught that, and he even, you know, mentioned that a few times in his streams, because essentially that's what it looks like to me. Let's go back through this here, and you're going to see a couple characters here towards the top, and that's kind of the focus of the tables. You got the 2 fighters in the ring there up at the top, and they're not doing any combos, they're not doing any flips, they're not doing any classic fighting moves from the game. They're just kind of just like you would do in Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Just a little hit, wait a few seconds, hit again, wait a few seconds, the other person hits the other person. And it's just really robotic and boring and just doesn't draw you into this pinball game at all. It really throws it off completely. And it's kind of unfortunate because, you know, they used AI for a lot of the other visuals on the table. Like, I thought that all the other characters in there, like the artwork, looked really good within the table itself. But they didn't even really need to add the animations at all. The animations could have been left out, and it would have been much better off. It would have been a much barren table, more barren table, but it would have also looked much better. It would have played better because these animations just make it look worse. It throws off the gameplay. And let's take a closer look at that, because there's also some other things I want to point out that I've heard from people in the community that have been playing this table is there's other visuals that they put, like static visuals, that throw off the gameplay as well. These are thanks to Papa Brad's Gaming. You're going to see these weapons here in the lower left and the lower right corners of the game, and they put them directly over the play field. So it really takes away from your ability to follow the ball, because you're going to actually lose that ball for a fraction of a second right before you have to hit that flipper. And I don't ever remember, maybe you guys can correct me, but I don't ever remember tables putting obstacles over top of the gameplay to prevent you from seeing the travel of the pinball. I've never seen that before. So definitely some rookie mistakes were made with Zen on their first try at this with the rare license. You know, they made some really bad mistakes, I think. Can they learn from these mistakes? I think absolutely they can. They're going to definitely need the resources to better develop the characters, the animations, also judgment on what placement of certain items within the table is very important that they're going to have to focus on going forward. And then I think another thing too is just the reliance on AI. You know, AI is good. I use it a lot in my job. I use it a lot in my day-to-day now. Like I'd asked AI, you know, recreate this image here. And this is what AI recreated. And it's pretty much an identical match to what Zen created. And the reason why AI can recreate this so well is because AI originally created it for AtGames. So I think something they need to really do is, you know, use and utilize AI to your advantage, but don't be so reliant on it. Don't be so reliant on it to where you don't pay, you know, an artist or a graphic designer or someone that can really contribute to the overall project and the big picture. You know, don't cut those jobs out and save money to rely on AI, because this is what you end up with. You end up with stuff that looks like this, that is, it just looks bad, it plays bad, it reacts bad to what's going on within the pinball game. Just, you know, a lot I think that they can learn from this experience. And something that I really want to put out there to everyone in the community, I'm not an AtGames 4KP owner, so I can't speak from experience. I can only speak from my own judgment and what I see and what I hear. But what I would like to tell people is, you know, don't reward this. Don't spend $35 on a rare pinball pack, and encourage this type of work, because all that's going to end up happening is you're going to get more of the same. Where if you decide, hey, I'm going to be a little more picky with my dollars, I'm only going to get the pinball packs that I think are worthy of my money, you're going to get better games in the long run. So another thing I think AtGames should do, and, you know, especially based on the poll that's going on right now, we've got 15 votes. 33% are Sea of Thieves, 7% Battletoads, 13% Killer Instinct, is offer single packs. Do not offer just a full pack at $35. Allow people to buy Sea of Thieves on its own for $10 or maybe even $7. I think that's how you can really win customers back and their confidence back in you, is encourage them to buy the table that they think is worthy of their money. For instance, Sea of Thieves, let them buy that on their own for a lot less. So we'll see if they're able to do that, make those changes. And then also, I think more importantly, on future releases like this, where they're going to try to take on, you know, a big project like this, a big license with like Rare, if they do this again with some other company, some other brand, you know, just put in that extra work, you know, learn from your mistakes that you had with this table and this pack, and just do it better next time. And I think people will forget about all this. And but I did want to point it all out, because I think that's what this channel is about. Is it's not a shield channel. We're not sitting here, you know, promoting things that aren't worthy of what you want to spend your money on, just so we can get free units and free reviews and all that. That's not what this channel is about. It's giving you guys the facts. It's giving you guys the raw opinions of what this stuff is and what you're actually getting. and I'm connected enough with the community and the people within this community to have a pretty good grasp on what is being released, even if I don't own it. A lot of people like to really harp on that I don't buy these games, or I don't own the 4KP, or for like instance, Galaga guy saying, you know, you never buy any of this stuff, and basically saying I'm not allowed to talk about it if I don't buy it. I think that's just ridiculous. I have an opinion just like everyone else has an opinion, and if people want to watch my opinion, they should be able to. It's not for you to decide who can and can't talk about something. So I'm going to continue talking about AtGames 4KP. I'm going to continue to point out the positives as well as the negatives of these releases, because the community's interested in it. I'm interested in it. I would like to see better work so I can eventually buy one of these machines. So that's a lot of my motivation behind my discussions about this. Mickey Yoon says the movement of Battletoads is jarring on that table. Absolutely. Ojib is here. He's saying they need to work on their art. Absolutely. Get better artists. Get people more that are dedicated to the work, that want to see better output, better games. Absolutely. Papa Brad's Gaming says that frog needs a whip. Yeah, so that's another thing. All these characters have these moves, right? They've got these special classic moves from the arcade games. We're not seeing any of that in the pinball table. Like, that's why you get the license, so you can use all that copyrighted, trademarked, you know, characters, things that Microsoft, Rare had created over the years, and use that to your advantage. They didn't at all, and it's mind-boggling. It's very surprising to see AtGames do this and do it in this way. It just very poorly done. He says, I'm seeing people drinking the Kool-Aid. He says this was not a win. 8 tables in 1 month, though. AtGames was a win. And that's something else. We're going to talk about a couple more AtGames releases and give them credit, I think, on some good releases this week, because we did get a lot. We got the Rare Pinball Pack, and we got a couple of soccer games. And then there was another one called like Future Deluxe. Didn't really pay too much attention to that one, but the soccer ones I did. So we're going to talk about those tonight. Papa Rad's Gaming says 400 million points spamming one shot. And he's saying, sorry, this table is a mess. Mickey Yoon, Papa Brad, the AtGames guy, and trust his opinion. Steps Gaming says, is the KI arcade game even on AtGames yet? And is not. They were supposed to make a 4KP AtGames, ALU, AtGames Legends Ultimate. Never released. So we never actually got the arcade games. Surprisingly, they still have not brought those. I think there was some like porting issues where like they were going to end up having to pay Code Mystics to port these games. They didn't want to pay the extra money. That's what I've been hearing. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. You develop these pinball tables, but you don't actually release the original arcade games when you have the license to do that. And they initially were going to, and they just never did. And those games can play on the Legends Ultimate. Those games can play on the Mini Legends as well. So why are they withholding those arcade games from the AtGames platform? I don't know. It's a very good question, Steps. Papa Brad, he also says they had plenty of great games. Tales of Arabian Nights was the best game. That is a great pinball table. So I went to Starfighters a couple of weeks ago, and then I went on a date last night, and I was able to get a first date to meet me at Starfighters Arcade. So you know that's a good one when they're going to meet you at the arcade on the first date. But I had her play Tales of Arabian Nights there last night. I'd also played it a couple of weeks ago, the original, the real table. And that is just such an incredible pinball table. Just the lighting on it, the theme, the music, the genie, everything going on with that one. And I thought Zen did really good with the virtual one as well. It really makes you feel like you're playing the original, and it just brings back all those memories of what you experienced when you play the original, when you play Zen's virtual version. He also says, I played Battletoads all the way through with Steps Gaming on the Arcade 1-Up KI. That was the best part of owning that cab. Yeah, I've got Battletoads playing tonight here on behind me, and it is a great addition to that arcade. I'm glad that they we're able to add some more games, you know, the console versions of Battletoads as well as the arcade version. Because if it would have just been Killer Instinct alone, I don't think it would have been as good of a value. It wouldn't have had as much replay value as it does here with Battletoads. So going back to AtGames, on just a couple other things I want to give them credit on is they had released this table. And this is a Zen developed table that has released on FX and has been available for Steam and the consoles and all that. Super League Football. So not Super League Soccer, but Super League Football, because in Europe and the rest of the world, they don't call it soccer. They call it football. We're the only country that calls soccer soccer. And we call our sport football, and no one else really plays football outside of the U.S. So it's a very weird situation in how we do our own thing here in the U.S. We call soccer its own thing, and we even have our own sport that we call football, and the rest of the world doesn't play it. So just kind of a little bit of a side note there on that. And the reason is Zen is they're overseas, they're in Europe, and you know, I think when they developed this game, this was kind of like a labor of love game that they had developed more so on their own, probably on the side. Probably didn't have a lot of funding from, you know, outside licenses or, you know, a lot of pressure from outside companies. They did a lot of this in-house just kind of on their own, but probably because they're big fans of football there in Europe, and they just wanted to make a really great soccer pinball table. And they did. They made this one last year, and it looks like a ton of fun. It's got a bunch of pinballs that are all soccer balls, and you'll have like 6 or 7 of them going on all at the same time, scoring all over the place. Looks like a ton of fun. I think this is a must-buy, must-pick-up if you're an AtGames owner and you own the 4KP. It's only $5. I mean, you can't beat that. And this was really great timing, too, because they had released that rare pinball pack with Battletoads and Killer Instinct, and it was just so poorly received. To be able to follow it up just a couple of days later with such a great release at such a bargain at $5, and a sports game, something that's really fun, really great timing. So this came out on June 25th, just last week. Very well received, very good value, I think, at $5. Go get this one. I made a short about this. Another thing I've been doing is I've been making shorts during the week, because a lot of what I'm going to cover on these streams, I want to be reminded of it, but I also would like to get a little bit of content out of it during the week. So what I've been doing is I've been making shorts. And what YouTube likes is they like for you to add your voice. They don't want to just see the visuals and all the video editing. They want you to use your voice, your likeness, and that's what YouTube encourages. So I've been putting out the news with a video, very little editing in a short, and then just adding my voice. And I got like 4 or 5 shorts out this week, and they all did pretty well. So I'm going to keep doing that. And I did one of the Super League Football this week. And, you know, there's not as many viewers for this AtGames content, but I'm interested in getting an AtGames 4KP at some point. I'm also interested to see what they do with this product, where it's heading. Is it going to continue to be successful or not? You know, those are all things I want to continue talking about. So I'll continue making content on AtGames and Zen and all that, whether, you know, it does well or not, just because I'm truly interested in it. So Papa Brad's Gaming, I just like this. So got a super chat, $2 from Papa Brad's Gaming. It says Totan is what we should be celebrating, not KI. So a little backstory, guys. I've had monetization now for like a month and a half, and I did not know that whenever they turn it back on, you have to go in and turn super chats back on. So this whole time I've been streaming over the last month, I haven't even had super chats on, so you guys haven't even been able to super chat me. And I've been wondering, why haven't I got any super chats? I was like, people are donating memberships, but no super chats. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Is it me? Well, come to find out, I didn't have them turned on this whole time. So got them back on. You guys are more than welcome to donate to the channel. It would be very helpful to, you know, making sure I can pay for Restream. I'm still paying for that. Also, it just helps me, encourage me to make better content. So I really appreciate you guys contributing whenever you're able to. And Papa Brad's Gaming sent over $2. I really appreciate that. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the money and the contribution to the channel. Let's run a super chat for Papa Brad's Gaming. Didn't forget the super chat videos. Thanks, buddy. All right, so he also says both soccer games were amazing. So that's another thing I want to talk about next is they surprisingly backed it up with another soccer game the next day. So let's talk about that one here. And that's going to be Soccer Kings. So Soccer Kings released, and this released the next day. And this is a Magic Pixel developed soccer table. And as we can see here, it's called Soccer. So this is American, probably developed in America. And people are saying this is a sleeper. Don't sleep on this table. This is a good one, actually. And there's been some criticism of the Magic Pixel tables. They say like the flippers aren't as good, the travel of the ball isn't as good, but people seem to be happy with this one. But like, look at this. It's $8 for Soccer Kings Deluxe, right? So why are you paying $3 more for it when we just looked at a Zen one, Super League Football, and it was only $5? So it's like if you have the choice of the two, obviously you're going to go with the Super League Football at $5. But I guess if you're going to get both, and it's only $8 extra to get both, why not? It sounds like it's worth it. People are happy with it; they enjoy it. So you're going to get your fill of soccer here this month. In this summer, thanks to AtGames, because they released back-to-back June 25th, June 26th, 2 soccer games from 2 different developers. So really cool to see, them follow up with some decent games right after those rare releases. And good to see them continuing to get the Zen titles. We saw that they just keep getting them. They're not the ones that we initially expected. They're not the Star Wars tables. And we're not getting the Star Wars skin that we thought we were going to get, but we are still getting some Zen tables. So that's nice to see. And they're not getting the pick of the litter, but they're at least getting some. And one thing about the Zen pinball games and pinball tables is they're all good. So if they can get any of them, then I think that's a win for AtGames. And it seems like they're surviving, so that's really good to see. So we've talked the Xbox Edition MetaQuest headset. We've talked about the AtGames releases with the rare pinball pack, Soccer Kings, and Super League Football. What I want to talk about next, I think I'm going to go into next, is going to be we've got 2 Kickstarters going on right now in the community. We got one that started right before the other, which was the Wonderland Pinball, which was the home edition real pinball table. If you guys remember that, it was like $800, and you get like a real physical pinball table in your home. But then we were really critical of it whenever they released it around the Kickstarter. It looked terrible. It was like playing bad. The code wasn't right. It wasn't even working at the event that they were showing it off with Bekongs, and the ball travel was like bouncing around, and it kind of looked like you just got this little ball in this little box, and it didn't really feel like a real pinball table. So I'm going to start with that Kickstarter because we got an update in June on it. So this is the video we're going to kind of look at here. This is a development update from Wonderland Pinball, Jerry's workshop, on what's been going on with this Kickstarter, which was successful. They funded it quickly. They got more than they expected out of this. And now it's time for them to deliver, to make their improvements and send that final prototype to the factory to start producing these. So let's see what they've done with that time. Let's see what improvements that they have made on this table in that amount of time, and see what Wonderland has to update us on. And this is just a part of that video. So it looks like from the outside, like all the artwork looks exactly the same. I think their focus now is just on the gameplay itself and the code. I think they're heavily working on that code still to make sure it works. So I'm going to start with some positives, and then I'm going to get into some of the negatives. So I really only have one positive that I can mention from what I've seen in this update, and that's going to be the code itself. It does seem like it's working now. As the ball travels throughout the table, when it does hit those points in which it should score points, it is actually scoring points now, where before the sensors were not working and they weren't actually calculating as it should, or was originally meant to. Now that's actually functioning and it's working. So that's good to see. Did not see any problems with the code itself and it calculating your scores. So that's great. Now, some negatives are they've made no improvements to the gameplay, the field of game there, where all the parts and all the characters and like the bumpers and the ramps and all that look the same to me. So I don't see any improvements there. And from what I heard from B-Kong, who was at the event, who actually got to play this up close in person, is it's hard to hit those ramps. When you do hit the ramps, the ball seems to jump off of the ramp back onto the play field. And so that's really bad to see that they haven't widened those. They haven't made them longer. They haven't done anything really to the ramps to make those function better. They haven't repositioned any of the bumpers or the placement of any of these obstacles within the field to make it play better. That's pretty much all the same. So you're getting what you originally invested in when you backed this Kickstarter as far as that goes. Also, you're going to notice too, you're going to see a lot of times where the ball is going to get lost. It's going to drain, and it's going to drain unintentionally, where they meant to try to hit it and it just lost its power, where the flippers just don't have enough power to keep the ball in play. Right there. We just saw it right there, where it hits the flipper, but the flipper just does not have enough power to keep the ball in play, and it drains even when you hit it. And right there, and that just cannot happen. You cannot ever have that happen. This will never be a competition level pinball table. It'll never be something even you can play with your friends at home and be competitive with, because how can you when you have stuff like that going on? Another thing I don't like to see too is a lot of times you're going to see them pick up the ball off of the table rather than let it drain and go through its process. There's something wrong with its reloading of that ball for the next play that is going on, that that Wonderland is literally picking up the ball before it drains to restart the game. So something is going on with its ability to reload the ball after it drains too. So you'll catch that in these videos that they're having issues there as well. So a lot of things that are red flags, alarms to me. If I was a Kickstarter and I had a way to get out of this, I'd definitely be seeking a way out right now from this Kickstarter. But I think your money's already locked in at this point, so you just got to hope and pray they're going to get this right. But it's not looking good, guys. Also, a lot of times you're going to see they don't play with the glass on top because they're constantly having to put their hands into the play field to either keep the ball playing or to be able to demonstrate it for these videos. So you always notice that the glass, which actually isn't glass, it's plexiglass, plastic glass that they put on top. But you'll notice they never have it on there when they're demonstrating. And that's because they're constantly having to put their hand into there to make adjustments to keep the ball going. So not looking good, guys, at all for Wonderland. Really hate to see this because I was really high on this product when I first heard about it. I was really hopeful that they were going to deliver. And I was very interested in myself. I was like, $800, a real pinball table in my home? Heck yeah, let's make this work. And they're doing a very, very bad job with this, I feel like. And it's only a couple of guys too. It's like, what do you expect? Do they really have the resources, the manpower to deliver on this? Are their goals too high? I think so. It's like expectations are probably too high for this at $800. Mickey Yoon says a little scare with the hold on Zen tables, but they're still getting them. Kevgrit says no improvements made to gameplay whatsoever. Papa Brad's Gaming says once that plexi is on, it's not so easy to correct stuck balls. Absolutely. And Kevgrit says they can't play with the top on. Nope, can't happen. We haven't seen it yet. And Mickey says, I bet that caterpillar still doesn't have eyes. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that in the video, but yeah, you had no eyes at that event. It was just like a 3D printer probably created that and they forgot the eyes on it. So that's your Wonderland Pinball, guys. If you back this thing, it's not looking good. I feel bad for a lot of the people that put their hard-earned money into this, because it's just, I don't think I wouldn't have put my money into it, but I think a lot of people were hopeful that maybe they can fix it here once they get their money, and it's not looking like that has happened. It looks like they're going to take people's money and run with it, and they're going to send you out some broken, half-assed developed pinball machine that will probably break within a year, and you will not be able to fix it. And it may end up in a trash or in the dumpster in a few years. So that's the scenario right there. That's what's going on. So let's take a look. Here's another Kickstarter. And we talked about this last week. We may have talked about it the week before. So I'm not going to go into the details of the actual product itself, because we've talked enough about that. But GRS, Glenn's Retro Show, his Build-A-Cade FU actually did launch this week. And within about 7 minutes, it hit its goal of $200,000. When I checked this afternoon, it was at $402,000. So it's more than doubled its goal. And he has over 207 backers right now, which is incredible. He initially thought he was going to need 200 to hit that 200,000 goal, but you've got the 26-inch monitor, you've got the bundle with 2 units, you've got the bundle with all the game decks, all those swappable game decks. So he actually hit that $200,000 goal at like less than 100 backers. So very good to see. There's still 55 days to go with this, so still a lot of time to see those numbers grow. Let's take a look at the GRS Build-A-Cade FU live. Let's see what those numbers are looking like right this moment. We've got 208 backers at 402,401. So I think, what is that? Only one extra backer. Yeah, so he's gained 1 backer since this afternoon when I took this screenshot. But that's 1 extra one. This is all gravy. This is all icing on the cake for Glenn right now. He's already hit his goal. I would continue to see this grow, or expect to see this number grow, but it's not going to be at the rate, of course, it did on that initial day that it started. But, you know, I would say a good prediction would be like 600,000. Maybe 250 backers, 260 backers may be a good like goal to have in mind for, you know, 54 days from now. 600,000, 280 backers, you know, something like that. I definitely expect this number to continue to grow. Also, something else I want to note is, you know, talking about the Wonderland Pinball, talking about how poorly that table has come together for that Kickstarter. Glenn's product, his Build-A-Cade, is not something you have to worry about. This is something he's already got down. This has been a slow process for him, starting with the little miniature Build-A-Cade, then working his way into the iArcade and making the ultimate control panel, making the Viper board, the KVM switcher, for the iArcade, for his Viper board. All this has been in the works for a very long time, and he has slowly built his products to the point where he has the capabilities now to make a full-size arcade with these unique controls, with his board, his own board that he has made for this machine. You know, there's a huge community backing, so it's going to be easy to load games onto. It's going to be easy to navigate the menu system. It's all going to be programmed and developed specifically for the FU Build-A-Cade. So this is going to be a very streamlined, easy process. It's going to be a very fun process to be a part of the community and be involved in all this when it first, you know, gets released, I think. So great to see, and I can only encourage people to run out and back this product, because you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to get more than what you're paying for. I think this is one of those things where you're actually getting more bang for your buck than you can with any of these other products. Because, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this week, you know, Arcade 1UP, Basic Fun, AtGames, any company, even New Wave Toys. I love New Wave Toys, but they're all out for the money. They want to make money. Glenn's Retro Show is not about that. He is just about providing quality products to us for a very good value, getting as much out of our money spent as we can possibly get, so we get the best product possible. And I know this from experience, having the Ultimate Control Panel, having, you know, his Mystery Encoder mod installed on my arcade. It's an amazing multi-cade. And this is just a miniature version of what this FU is going to be. The FU is going to be my iArcade modded times 10. So $1,000 too. And that's another point I want to make. This came in at $9.99. And we've talked about this on streams before here on this channel. I've put about that much into my iArcade with the unit itself, the Ultimate Control Panel, the Mystery Encoder mod, the BOE upgrade, the Buy Stuff Store BOE screen upgrade. All that, you add it up, is about $1,000. So you have the opportunity right now. Let's say you missed out on the iArcade. You now have the opportunity to get an even better unit at about the same price with so much more, like so much more to offer than what I have and what I have, and what I modded with my iArcade. So great opportunity for new buyers, great opportunity for anyone wanting to get a new multi-cade right now. Just awesome to see what Glenn has done, and he delivered too. You know, this was a very ambitious project. This was a very big thing to take on for him. It was not easy. It was, like I said, a very long process to build up the capabilities to make something like this. But we're living in it right now. And that's something else I want to mention, is like, we are making history right now with this product. There has not been a product like this ever released before that is, you know, made of this quality at this price point, with someone that is in our community that we have connections with. We have the opportunity to get help from, to get advice from as we you know, buy these, as they start to be delivered, as we start setting them up. I mean, we've got a direct connection to the person who created it in our own community. So this is just such an amazing thing going on right now. And there's just so many negative things, I think, that go on within the community right now, the home arcade community I'm talking about, that there's just a really bright spot right now, and a really big bright thing going on right now with Glenn. And really good timing too, because we've got less products than we've ever had coming out. We've also got more animosity going on within the community I think I've ever seen in the 5 years that I've followed this community. But to have this product coming out at this time, it is just a really bright spot for everything going on right now. Papa Brad's Gaming says that is why they make it easy to slide the glass off. Talking about that Wonderland Pinball. Atran Fanatics here. He's saying, hey, Biggie, good to see you, Atran Fanatic. Always good to see you in the chat. Just streaming tonight, talking a little GRS, Build-A-Cade FU. Kevgrat says, good for Glenn. Papa Brad says, I am happy for my buddy Glenn. He also says at $13.50 with shipping, that is an impressive launch. Mentioning the 350, so let's say you got that $9.99 deal, which is the 19-inch automatic rotating screen at $9.99. You're still going to pay an extra $3.50 for shipping, so you got to factor that in there. But this is a heavy unit; it's like a 200-pound machine, so at $3.50, that's actually a bargain. And I don't think you pay that shipping until it actually ships, so you're not going to have to come up with that today. Papa Brad's Gaming also says Glenn has a passion for what he's making. It is a good value. And you got the BOE for free, right? No, I did not get it for free. They did send it to me for review. I got a discount. They gave me a sizable discount, Buy Stuff Store did, for a review on that screen. Which I think they got their value on that, their money back on that. That video did pretty well. Atrium Fanatic says, thanks, man. I might have a job. I got an interview hopefully next Wednesday. That's awesome to hear. You know, I know we both live here in the Phoenix area. I've been in and out of jobs over the last year, getting laid off, and luckily I've been able to find work quickly both times. But within the last year, I've worked for 3 different employers, but I've only been unemployed for about a month during the whole last year over 3 employers. So I've been lucky, been fortunate to find better jobs each time. But good luck to you, man. I hope you find something quick. And I hope that interview goes well. All right, so we're talking Glenn, FU. Go check out that Kickstarter, guys. I'm also going to put in a link to that. So if you guys are re-watching the stream and you guys want to back this, or you want to get more information on it, I'm going to put a link here in the stream to his Kickstarters. Go check that out, guys. All right, so last thing I'm going to talk about tonight, we've been streaming for about an hour and 15 minutes, so probably not the longest stream tonight, but that's okay. Is I want to talk about this tin sign that I talked about last week. Kind of gave everybody a heads up. Also made a short on this. The short did very well. People seem to be really interested in this. I thought it was a bargain. You know, I'm always looking for deals. So it shipped to me within a couple of days. I had this within like 2 days because it ships from, I think, Los Angeles. So, but like, look at this. This is a quality tin sign. It's a big sign. And it's got the Arcade 1-Up logo on it. It's got the Raw Thrills logo on it. And Play Mechanics. Thought it was pretty cool. And this was only $10, guys. $10. And I also got free shipping, too. I thought that was really cool. I had to pay tax in Arizona, but some people were buying it throughout the country and they weren't even paying tax in their state. But for me, it was like $10.81 delivered, and it came within 2 days. So always love seeing these like great deals and being able to spot those early on. I'd actually mentioned it not last Sunday, but the Sunday before when I initially saw it, and people seem to have been able to purchase those. I'm interested to see too, are they still on the Arcade 1-Up website today, or did those sell out? Because some people were reporting that maybe Arcade 1-Up had caught this and now they're charging shipping. So, oh, it's sold out. So yeah, out of stock, sold out. So you guys would have had to been quick about it. You would have had to watch my live stream last Sunday to get a really head start, or you could have watched my short this week and maybe got enough time head start to purchase it, but it's out of stock now. But I did hear some reports towards the tail end of this that they were charging shipping. So it may, like one guy complained that they were charging $35 shipping on a $10 sign. So I think Arcade 1-Up caught it and they fixed it, but it doesn't matter now. You can't get it anyways. But great deal. I caught that as soon as they added it to the website, and I'll let you guys know. I'm a big bargain hunter, big about home arcade deals. That's, you know, a big part of how my channel was created and how it became successful in the first place was following these deals. So I will continue to do that as I see these. But we talked about the Mossy Oak Edition Big Buck Hunter Pro that's about to come. There was some shipping data, port data that was released that had given us a leak that this cabinet is actually coming. It's actually already arrived in the US, but we don't know what it looks like yet. We don't know the details. There's an inside source that James Hates Everything knows that thinks that the cabinet is just a rehash of the original Big Buck Hunter Pro Deluxe with just the Mossy Oak skin. So you got the Mossy Oak camo. They've partnered with Arcade 1-Up to make this cabinet, and it's going to have their patented camo on the sides with their logo, I imagine. So that very well could be the case. But what I think is happening is I think that Arcade 1-Up has developed and they've made a new Big Buck Hunter Pro with Mossy Oak as a partner, and there may be some differences. not outside of the artwork, but I think there may be like a lit marquee in this one for the first time. There may be better guns. There may be a bigger screen. We may get a 19-inch screen. This may be an XL. So there's all kinds of things that could still happen that we don't have word on yet. But do know that there is a Mossy Oak Big Buck Hunter Pro cabinet coming from Arcade1Up here very soon. I would expect within the next week or two to get some news and marketing on this cabinet. And what is interesting about this is just a lead up, right? This is a product that hit their website about a week ago. There was no word on it. They didn't actually advertise it. I just happened to catch it. And they had priced it with free shipping. So I was able to get that signed for like $10 out the door. But this is all lead up right here to that cabinet that's about to release here in a couple weeks. So good information you guys are getting, especially if you're arcade fans, Arcade1Up fans specifically. This is really big news. And you're getting it right here on Biggie D's Arcade tonight. So instead of watching Mike B's community stream, which, you know, definitely fun to watch community members talk, you can actually get the news here tonight. So, or if you're rewatching this week, you're getting the news here exclusive on Biggie D's Arcade, on the Big Buck Hunter Pro Mossy Oak Edition, and that 10 sign I was able to catch. Atran Fanatic says, Biggie D's Arcade, we got to meet one of these days on a weekend at Starfighters, man. Absolutely. I've been going to Starfighters a lot lately. I went a couple weeks ago, and then I went yesterday. So I've gone twice in 2 weeks. And I think I'm going to start making that trip more often because on Sunday, when there's no traffic, I can get there in 45 minutes. It's like 50 miles. I can get there in 45 minutes. And I pay $14 to get in, and I'll play like $30 to $35 worth of pinball while I'm there. So I get my money's worth, and it'd be great to meet you there. I have you as a friend on Facebook, so I'll let you know. I'll give you a heads up next time I go. Maybe we can meet up. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I saw the shorts will blow up your channel. Great content. I'm going to continue to do that, guys. Adding commentary to the news for some short videos throughout the week, because I can do those in about 10 minutes, and I'll get like 4 hours of watch time from those shorts, and I'll get that sometimes 1,000, 1,500 views on those, and they only take about like 10 minutes to make. And I think it's fun just to keep up with the community, keep up with the viewers throughout the week, rather than me having to just meet with you guys every Sunday. It gives everyone something to watch and keep connected with everybody throughout the week. Kevgrit says, community members, you mean other YouTubers? And Atrian says, yeah, Starfighters is a few miles from my house. Sounds good, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it's far for me here in the West Valley. It's, like I said, 50 miles for me. So trying to think, guys, is there anything else that I wanted to discuss with you guys tonight? No, I really can't think of anything else tonight that I can think of. Just kind of like looking through, you know, my normal YouTube channels that I follow right now to see, is there anything I'm missing? I guess, you know, I could be, I'll just share my YouTube here with you guys. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So here's who I'm like following. There was a tomato grass stream earlier tonight. Go check this guy out. He's doing like pinball streams every week now, showing off the tables. They've got some really good discussion going on with those. It looks like G.I. Joel was on P-Dub's Arcade Loft tonight talking about his wooden boxes. So if you're interested in like Mario or DK inspired cuts of wood to make wooden boxes, go check out P-Dub's channel tonight. Here it looked like Arcade1Up Official just released a video. This is a one of the creators, Uncanny Carlos, you know, advertising their new Mortal Kombat. Let's take a look at this. Turn off my camera here. Goro plays Arcade1Up. It looks like he's in a Goro suit, and he's about to go play his Mortal Kombat Arcade1Up and Mortal Kombat 2 Arcade1Up Deluxe. and his Ultimate MK3 Gen 2 and his Mortal Kombat 2 Gen 2. That's pretty cool. So I'll have to go check out that video. Here's Chalada Love. He's doing streams, lunch day streams. This will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. playing all the AtGames tables. I still keep up with Tech Buzz. He's still doing like console content. Here's Kevgret. Kevgret's in the chat tonight. He just posted a video at the Too Many Games Expo, which went on last weekend. So if you guys want to see a walkthrough tour of Too Many Games, go check out Kevgret, guys. So I guess that's about it for our home arcade news. A little bit of NBA talk, if we want to kind of finish the stream with that, is the Dallas Mavericks did draft Cooper Flagg during the NBA draft last week. That was expected with the #1 pick. And we've got trades going on throughout the whole league right now. And we've got free agency that starts at, actually it starts right now. So when I get off the stream, I can turn ESPN on and see all the free agents where they're going to be landing. I saw Dorian Finney-Smith is now leaving the Lakers, and he got signed by Houston. So he's going to the Houston Rockets. There's some word that LeBron may leave the Lakers. He just renewed a $53 million contract, 41-year-old player, taking up $53 million on the Lakers roster. So we'll see where he ends up. A lot of speculation he may take that pay for this year, collect that money, and then end up in Cleveland next season to retire. And then, yeah, I'm interested to see what trades come about, what happens with free agency. D'Angelo Russell, there's word that the Dallas Mavericks may be able to get D'Angelo Russell in free agency to play point guard, to cover and to fill in for Kyrie Irving while he recovers. So we'll see what happens with that. Baseball's really starting to hit its big point in the season now, getting into July, August, right before playoffs. Baseball's getting interesting, and then we're about to start training camp for football here next month. So very interested and looking forward to NFL season starting because I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm wearing a jersey again tonight, guys, a tank top, because it is 117 degrees outside, believe it or not. I went out early around 4 o'clock just to go get mail out of the mailbox, and literally I felt like the soles of my shoes were melting because of how hot it was outside. It was 117 degrees, and I could hear my shoes like sticking to the concrete because I literally felt that the soles of my shoes were melting. So that's just how hot it is here. But luckily I've got a great AC that's working right now. And this studio I'm in, this little room I'm in, is very small, and most of the cold air stays in here. So my old apartment, which was the same floor plan, it was the opposite. That room I was in before stayed really hot, but this room stays very cool and cold. So great to be able to be comfortable while I stream in here. But yeah, so that's about it, guys. Yep, 112 here. Yep, it literally said 117 on my phone earlier today around 2:30. Biggie's mustache is melting. All right, guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Great to keep in contact with you guys throughout the week and do these streams and just talk my mind and have you guys be a part of it and get something out of it and enjoy this content is great. It's a lot of fun to continue to do this each week. And I will, again, try to keep it on Sundays around, 6, 7 o'clock my time. But I may do it earlier on Sundays, or I may do it on a Monday night like I did this week. It really just kind of depends on my schedule. And I'm back on the dating scene, guys, so there's going to be a lot of dates that may interfere with my streaming. Don't want to be single forever. So, all right. So that's about it, guys. I have had a great time, though. You guys have a good one. Rexer Show looks like he's made it here at the very end, says he missed it. Go back, rewatch the stream, and support the channel. Hit the like button, guys. If you guys have not subscribed to Biggie D's Arcade yet, definitely hit that subscribe button, become part of the channel, and help us grow. Let's take a look at this poll before I end it and before I end the stream. We've got 19 votes. Sea of Thieves with 26%. Battletoads with 5%, Killer Instinct with 11%. So by and far, the winner is Sea of Thieves with 26% of the vote. But the most votes were 58%, and that was we're not interested. So that either means they're not interested in 4KP, they're not interested in AtGames Pinball, or maybe they are an AtGames customer and they're just not interested in the rare pinball pack because of reasons we discussed tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now at 19 votes. That's our final tally for those different choices. And that'll do it, guys. You guys have a great night. I'll see everyone in the next one. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye. Oh! We've got a super chat. Thank you, Papa Brad. He says, Biggie D takes dates to the arcade. You rock, right? What a great place to take your first date. And she was a trooper. She's not even a big arcade fan. She's not even very good at pinball, but she really was a trooper, sat there, played pinball with me for hours, really enjoyed it, enjoyed everything that I was telling her about these tables, or at least pretended like she enjoyed it. So yeah, she definitely does rock. And awesome to finally meet someone, a date that would actually meet me at the arcade, because I've asked other dates on the first one, will you meet me at the arcade? And they're like, let's go get coffee or something short. She was like, yeah, I'm down, let's go. And so awesome too. I really appreciate the $2, Papa Brad. Really supports the channel, really helps out. So you guys feel free to super chat whenever you feel the need, and I will definitely try and use that money towards making things better, whether it be the content or the different applications I use to make that content. So awesome, Papa Brad. Thank you. Have a great week, guys, and I will see everyone here very soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.